I've got a secret, and I'm not afraid to share it right now. Much like Bruce Wayne keeping his Batman identity a secret, I've got something that I've been keeping from you. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but it is the truth. I used to be a virgin. Not only did I used to be a virgin, I used to be a turbo virgin who was extremely proud of the fact that he was a virgin. In my early college years, I used to brag about being a virgin to anyone that would listen. I was like those dudes that stand on corners with the sign saying the end is near, just talking about doomsday. I was that with virginity. And every day was virginity day for me. I made a video talking about this a little while back, about how I used to brag about being a virgin. I really went hard on that being a core part of my identity in my early college years. When I did talk to girls, I would treat it like I was on Shark Tank and I was pitching my virginity to them like a business that they should invest in. It was very sad and pathetic. But I figured I'd share a few more stories from this era of my life, this arc in the Charlie anime, because there's some real golden nuggets in there that I think maybe a few of you could learn from. Though I don't imagine too many of you watching this right now think virginity is cool or something worth bragging about all the time, unless of course you're trying to be a pastor or teaching abstinence at a high school or some shit as like a sex ed teacher. But anyway, I wanted to share a couple of these stories. So the first tale from the compendium of Charles White's virginity stories is actually one that I shared on a stream recently. It was my sophomore year of college, 2014. Five Nights at Freddy's is the hottest shit, just came out. We've never seen anything like that. Our assholes blown wide open by Five Nights at Freddy's. It was a dark and stormy night, and my roommate had a girl over. It wasn't anyone romantic, they weren't together, they weren't, anything at all. It was a friend of his from high school who came down to party at the university. I did not go to a party that night. I stayed in the dorm room watching cartoons. After the partying had ceased and everyone had their fun, my roommate went to bed, but she didn't. She sat on the couch and watched whatever cartoon I was watching at the time. I think I was watching Justice League or some shit, so she was wet. And she just started talking about how much fun she had at the party and eventually asked me why I didn't go with them. And I tried to play it cool. I said, I had better things to do. And if I had a cigar, I would have lit it in that moment right there and just blew a big fucking puff. I was really trying to be suave about it, but the reality is the reason I didn't go was because I wasn't invited. It was a very low-key party, and this was when I still wasn't super familiar with my roommates. They were probably afraid I'd crawl on top of one of the tables and start trying to lead like a virginity chant, like, raise your hands if you're a virgin. Oh, just me? Even better, something weird. So they didn't ask me to go, which is why I wasn't there. But anyway, of course, me being this virginity evangelist that wouldn't shut the fuck up about virginity, we talked more about some shit, I don't remember what, but of course, me being the mysterious anime loser virgin extraordinaire back then, I eventually steered our conversation into a talk of virginity. And I started telling her about, how great it is being a virgin and how, maybe I'll lose it soon if I'm really feeling like it, as if I had, a ton of options, like my fucking cell phone was full of applicants to take my virginity. And she said something that still rings in my ears sometimes when I'm trying to go to bed. After telling her all this about my virginity and telling it with a real smile on my face, really fucking saying it with my chest like I am a virgin, she hit 19-year-old Charles with a giggle and a wow, that's so sad. And she thought I was kidding, so she started making jokes about it, and I insisted that no, I was being serious, and I was like, damn. On the inside I was like, damn, that was brutal, that shit hurt, but she's not wrong. The more I say it out loud, the more I realize how sad it is. And then she goes on to say, I'll suck your dick if you want. And I went into a full fucking meltdown mode. It was like something out of Tom and Jerry when like the stars are going around when they're like knocked out. I was having like a fucking meltdown. And I eventually just went into like full Redditor mode. I was like, oh gee, whoa. No, madame, I could never ask such a thing of you. Absolutely not. I would not have that. I'd like my virginity to stay, thank you very much, you harpy, you succubus. So I stood my ground and declined the blowjob, which was a more than generous offer from her, might I add. She was just gonna take one for the team, a real champion. Like, what a great friend my roommate had. And honestly, I probably saved her life by declining that blowjob because I don't think she quite knew what she was dealing with and getting into. She was about to bite off more than she could chew. She was like Icarus flying way too close to the sun. If she did give me that blowjob, I would have blasted an unholy cum shot at an unreal velocity that probably would have pierced the back of her throat and gone out the other side. It would have looked like she got hit by a fucking sniper. My wiener had never even been accidentally touched by a human female. The closest thing my cock ever got to a girl touching it back during that time was when a girl accidentally hit me in the balls with her criminology book when we were standing up from the table in the classroom. So if she blew me, I would have busted a nut of biblical proportion, a dangerous nut. So really, I made a noble decision and saved her life by declining that. And I think that incident right there, where she said it was so sad that she was just going to offer me a blowjob, really put it in perspective how sad it really was. Because it was so sad that not only did she tell me to my face how sad it was, but she tried to offer like consolation, as if she was trying to console someone who was grieving. Pretty wild stuff. And I figured I'll share one more story, because this one's just as embarrassing. Probably not as embarrassing, though. It's probably worse. Before my sophomore year of college, my high school had a reunion party at one of the girls' houses, and this is when I just started drinking, and I was getting after it. I was fucking hitting that alcohol real hard. And one thing that I talked about this in the previous bragging about virginity video, but one thing I used to do is I would get drunk and start bragging about my virginity in different accents. Well, I remember at this high school reunion party with all my old high school classmates, I reached that level of drunk where it was time that Irish Charlie come out and start talking about his virginity. So for the whole night that I can remember before total blackout, I was talking in an Irish accent about how great it is being a virgin and how everyone who had lost their virginity had just failed to reach enlightenment. I was the happiest one being a virgin, all in an Irish accent, of course. And then I do remember one of the girls kissed me and I pre-came down my leg. I don't know if it was like a pity kiss or something, or like pent up feelings from high school, though I doubt it because I was a real fucking weirdo in high school. But I remember one of the girls kissing me and I pre-came down my leg. At least that's what I tell myself, that it was pre-cum. Honestly, it could have just been a full load that I blew down my leg. I really don't know. But I do know I wasn't invited to the follow-up high school reunion party the next year. So there's a very good chance that I might have just shit myself, honestly, down my leg. It could have been anything. It could have been any mystery fluid coming out of there. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, just a couple more tales from this time where I thought bragging about being a virgin was cool. Again, the lesson to take away. Bragging about virginity is a weird thing to do. So yeah, probably just avoid that. Don't do that. That's it. See ya. So I'm going to tell a story. I'll go ahead and oh wow, what the fuck? These zombies are eating me like an ear of corn. I'll go ahead and tell another story where I fucked up with a woman. I have so many of those. I wish I could animate those so I could animate the story to really help give a visual. But anyway, it was my freshman year of college, I think. I'm pretty sure it was. And I went to a club, because that's what a lot of freshmen did. They would go to clubs. And I wasn't a big fan of clubs, but you know, I put on the facade that I loved clubs. I would flail my arms around like a buffoon, maybe get a little hip gyration in there, and generally look like I was having a good time. I mean, if you saw me at the club, you'd be like, wow, this man really likes his clubs. But I didn't, at all. But I still went. And this one time in particular, I decided to wear these, like, light-up glasses that looked like something a pop singer during the 70s would wear in a music video. And I was dancing around in them, and, you know, was doing my thing, getting a little footwork action in there, and by that I mean I was doing the hokey pokey on the dance floor. And I saw a girl, she was really pretty, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buckle down, I'm gonna go up, and I'm gonna talk to her. So I did everything right, I went up to her, and then I didn't say a word. I just went up to her and I fucking stared at her. She didn't see me at first, she had to turn around, and then she looked at me, and then she's just looking back at me, and I wasn't saying a word. She probably thought I was lagging, or just frozen. And, you know, she must have liked something about my approach, because then she started trying to talk to me. And I just didn't answer any of her questions. I didn't say a word to her. She was like, "What's your name?" Didn't answer her. And then she pointed out my glasses, which were now around my neck because they weighed damn near 40 pounds and my nose and eye muscles weren't up to that challenge. So I put them on my neck. She pointed them out. She said, "Hey, I really like that necklace." Without saying a word, I just picked up the glasses off my neck and put them on my eyes. And then I just continued to look right at her. It was like I was trying to predict the future. I was reading a crystal ball. And then she said, "Oh, they're glasses. Well, that's even cooler." What the fuck just happened here? Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's that shit I do like. Crashed. Awesome. Yeah, that's about the most fun I've had in the last 10 minutes. I'm glad the game at least waited to crash until I was down to the last 5 enemies or however many I had left. But anyway, I'm still gonna finish the story. So I'm just looking at her like a tacky time traveler with these light-up blinking glasses. And I was just doing what any sane man would do. I was staring directly into the eyes of a stranger without saying a word. And she was starting to get a little uncomfortable with this, like a little bothered, but she still wanted to try and salvage this really odd interaction with me. So she said, "Do you like what my shirt says?" And naturally, I just didn't look at the shirt. I kept looking at her, just right into her eyes. And then she noticed this and was a little put off by it, but then she lifted her shirt up, like all the way up, like above her head almost. She nearly took it off so that way I could see it, because I was taller than her. So that way I could see nothing but the shirt. She put it in front of her face, and then I just stared blankly at the shirt without actually reading it. And after a couple of seconds she said, "So what do you think of the shirt?" And I just nodded. And then she stormed off, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And my friend happened to see most of it, and he came over and he said, "Well, what the fuck was that about? You didn't say a thing to that girl." And then I turned around and I just looked at him without saying anything too. And I really don't know why. I don't know why I didn't say anything to her. I don't know why I didn't say anything to him. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. I was completely sober, and my brain was just processing some really complex algorithms or something. I don't know, but it was a really embarrassing time. And then I continued to just dance around like an absolute loser. And then I threw those glasses right in the garbage. I should have set them on fire, but I just got rid of them because that was very embarrassing. So yeah, that was that story. The game crashed like over a minute ago, probably like 2 or 3 minutes ago, but I really wanted to finish that story. Alright, well that's the end of this video. Remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. See ya. Anime is a word that inspires confusion, fear, and boners. On the surface it's just another form of entertainment, but what it actually is a weapon. And like all weapons, there's the potential for misuse. This is the story of how I misused anime in my first year of college, and potentially led the entire student body to believe that I was some type of fucking lunatic who was one bad Naruto episode away from crashing his car into the side of the on-campus gym. It all started in high school. I was pretty reclusive, I didn't go out much, but I did watch a lot of anime, and it taught me 2 very important lessons. The first being, the power of friendship is the strongest force in the universe that not even God himself can compete with. Friendship probably led to the Big Bang creating our fucking universe. The second lesson being, the mysterious guy is always the coolest guy that big-titted girls want to fuck and smaller-titted girls want to fuck. And I really took that lesson to heart, and I super shouldn't have. Absolutely not. But I did. And what happened is, as I graduated high school, I realized that college was my chance to really reinvent myself and change what people think about me, my perception, because no one knows about me. In high school, everyone knew me because I went to a small school, so I couldn't exactly just kick down the door one day sporting a leather jacket and riding a Harley Davidson and have everyone think I was super cool all of a sudden. They'd probably just think I was possessed by the spirit of a 40-year-old father going through his midlife crisis. But in college, nobody knew me, so I could be anything I wanted to be. And man, I wanted to be the anime mysterious guy. And holy shit did it lead to a very embarrassing and lonely first year of my college. So my college anime opened up with an incredible season opener, just a beautiful introduction. On move-in day, the literal first time setting foot in college soil, being an adult, a full-grown, full-hairy, penised adult on a college campus. On move-in day, I had my dad helping me. And going to my dorm, moving in the elevator, there was a girl and her father who were moving in there on the same floor. And my dad was talking to her dad and her a little bit. I didn't say a word. I was too cool to say a word. My dad tried to throw me into the conversation. So he asked me a real softball question that even a toddler could fumble his way through. I don't remember exactly what he asked me, but it was something like, "Oh, are you excited to move into this dorm, Charlie?" And I'll never forget my response because I remember this verbatim. I said, "You know I can't talk about that, Dad." I don't know why I said that. I guess in my head I thought that she would think that was super fucking dope, like I was some type of super secret agent that can't talk about his opinions. But really it just came across like, wow, this is a guy that I should be afraid of. But at the time, it didn't register with me like that was a weird thing to say. I went through the rest of that day being really proud of that, like, damn, fucking nailed it in the elevator. College is gonna be great. I just expected, like, if we saw each other in the hallway, she'd just be overcome with ecstasy and just charge me like, "Charlie, son," and then give me a smooch on my smoochers. But in reality, as you can imagine, that never happened. And that was really just setting the tone for the rest of that entire year for me. I wanted to, and luckily Kaya talked me out of it, I wanted to put an Xbox disc of Psychonauts around a chain on my neck, so that way people would know that I like Psychonauts. It's not exactly mysterious because I'm kind of beating you on the urethra with, I like this, I'm clearly wearing it. But I was like, this is so different. This is totally what an anime guy would do, like the mysterious guy. Another thing that I wanted to do, and Kaya again talked me out of it, he really saved me from having an even more catastrophic freshman year of college, is I wanted to carry around a deck of cards and do magic tricks at house parties or just around campus to really make people be like, damn, that was cool. I need that guy's number. Who was that guy? That guy's super cool. Let's invite the magic deck guy back, the magic card trick guy. That super awesome and fun guy. I didn't end up doing that, but I did used to do some magic tricks at house parties, which is still embarrassing, but the cards were already there. I didn't bring them or like come up to people, hey, you want to see a fucking magic trick? They were at least there. It made sense at the time. But bringing them around like a mysterious guy, keeping them in like a Ziploc bag, there was no coming back from that. If I went down that destructive path, I'd probably be behind bars right now just from scaring the general populace. Like, what is this guy up to with this deck of cards? This is a maniac. Get him off the streets, this menace. But now let's talk about the things that the social savior Kaya wasn't able to prevent me from doing. One of the biggest ones that I can remember is I used to go to clubs because I obviously wasn't really getting invited to house parties. Because who's going to want to invite the guy who doesn't talk because he thinks it's cool not to? Like, I would blatantly just avoid answering questions in class. If I got called on, I'd just blow it off like, oh yeah. I wouldn't even give like a yes or a no. I wouldn't be like no, I don't know the answer. I wouldn't even give the answer. I'd just be like, oh yeah. Just like fucking mumble it out like I was fucking overdosing on Xanax. So obviously no one was going to come out of their way to invite me to a house party. No one got to know me my freshman year. So I'd go to clubs by myself. And one time, it was New Year's, and I had these light up New Year's glasses. And they were some pretty fucking cool glasses, not going to lie. And I was wearing them around my neck because they were so bright I couldn't really see. I was basically just flashbanging myself when I was wearing them normally with the lights going on and shit. So I had them around my neck. And this girl came up to me and started talking to me about them. And instead of like answering any of your questions, I was playing it the same way I did everything else. I just didn't say a word. She said something about my glasses, but she fucked up and called them a necklace. She said something like, I like your necklace. That's a cool necklace. They're glasses. How dare you fuck that up? But anyway, I just disregarded it and I stared at her blankly. Like a fucking robot whose programming just malfunctioned, or I just fell asleep standing up. But she kept trying to get me to talk to her, get me to open up. That goddamn hero, that trooper, she just kept really trying to pry me open, but it just wasn't happening. Getting me to talk and not be mysterious in my freshman year of college would be like trying to open up a dumpster and not have a wave of shit hit your nostrils. But she kept trying. She pulled out her shirt saying, do you like my shirt? And it said something like, short girls know how to have fun or something like that, or something to that extent. And I glanced at it and then I immediately went back to staring at her without commenting on the shirt or even saying a word. I didn't make a noise. I didn't even make like a caveman grunt, like a Tim Allen. I didn't do anything. I didn't make a single audible noise. So I was basically just a fucking statue there. She tried again. She said something else about my necklace, and this time it must have just struck a chord because I remember I pulled them off of my neck slowly and I put them on my eyes, and then I flicked them on the next setting, which was like this intense, glowing, like strobe light shit, like some blinding, banging strobe light shit. And then she walked away. I still didn't say anything because I just put them on my eyes and then turned that setting on and kept staring at her. So I don't blame her for walking away. And that was really when it hit me like, you know, maybe being the mysterious weirdo isn't going to pay off. But I still committed to it. I still kept going past that. That was New Year's, and we still had another 5 or so months of me being an odd, weird, anime-inspired, mysterious loser. There's really no other big events that really stick out to me. Just a bunch of small stuff that I kept doing throughout the entirety of my freshman year. Like if it was raining and everyone was like, oh fuck, it's raining and I forgot my umbrella, I'm just gonna wait it out. I'd walk right by them, just kind of like wiggle my way through them, and then I'd just walk out in the rain like I didn't give a shit, like I didn't even know it was raining. Like I'd pull out my phone, much to the detriment of my phone, just be like, oh, rain? Too mysterious to feel rain. I really don't know why I ever thought walking out in the rain looking like some kind of dumb asshole would be cool or mysterious, because it doesn't fit either category, but that was another thing I'd partake in almost every time it rained. The only other big event that I can really think of, one that I still think about and it keeps me up at night and really haunts my boners to this day, is when I took an art therapy course towards the second semester of my freshman year. I don't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't art therapy, but it was something similar. It was just an art class basically where you express yourself. And I thought it would be amazingly mysterious and really get girls' panties super fucking wet, just sodden panties being tossed at me. Is every assignment I tried to make it as dark and bland as possible. So one of the assignments being, what do you think of your friends? You were supposed to do one about 12 friends. You make a drawing to represent each friend. And for mine, I did the same thing for all of them. It was a black box. I don't know why I don't know what at all was my thought process with that, but I just did 12 black boxes to represent all of my friends, and when I was supposed to present it, I gave them each a name, and I did name 12 friends. I'm kind of more acquaintances. I didn't really have any like super close friends or anything, but I did name 12 people that I knew and who also knew of my existence. And that just made me seem like I belonged in an insane asylum looking back on it. But at the time, I was like, oh, girls love the troubled artist, the mysterious troubled artist. This is beautiful. There's going to be tears in their eyes. I already know it. I'm going to get an A on this project. Spoiler alert, I didn't get an A because she thought I just blew it off and goofed on it. So I got a D because I at least turned something in. But even still, I drew 12 black boxes. That's some shit that you see in a horror movie. Like when the weird kid's scribbling shit on paper in a black crayon, and then you find out that the kid's actually a demon. That's that kind of shit that I presented to the class, and there's no doubt in my mind those students walked away deeply disturbed and afraid of me from that moment on. So, that's how I spent the entire first year of my college experience, emulating the anime mysterious guy. It wasn't until I moved out of my dorm and in with a new group of guys who put the kibosh on that shit and taught me how to be social, because they did not want to be living with some fucking weirdo that's trying to be an anime mysterious guy. So that's kind of that's how my first year of college went. The lesson to take away from this is don't emulate what you see on anime, because it's just not gonna fucking work unless you have some like superpowers that you might like, some really fucking cool superpowers. You might be able to get away with being weirdly mysterious, but I didn't. The only superpower I had was being below average male height. But if you have some cool superpowered shit, maybe you can emulate anime to some extent and still be cool, but I couldn't. But I wouldn't recommend it to most people, the non-superpowered people out there. To the people that aren't X-Men, don't try and be an anime mysterious guy. Don't be weird. That's it. See ya. What? Wow. Fantastic start. Absolutely splendid shit. What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I wanted to share another story with you guys today. I know I just told one yesterday, actually, but that actually happened last week. I made that video last week, and I only posted it yesterday. And the night after that happened, we went out again, and I had another unfortunate encounter, and another one that was just out of my control. It was my friend again, not the same guy, just another one of my friends, someone I thought I could trust, someone that I thought I could give my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection to and expect to have it returned to me back in mint condition. I haven't fucking touched my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in years, but I feel like that's a pretty big display of trust. I'd let them walk around in my animal slippers, which is something I don't let a lot of people do. So, I trusted this person, and it backfired yet again. And this is a tale I don't tell easily, because I genuinely have been having some fucking PTSD flashbacks to this scenario. Every time I think about it, it's like a frag grenade goes off in my apartment, my vision gets blurry, everything seems like it's covered in smoke, my ears start ringing. You know that feeling where it sounds like Alpha 5 from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers having a thunderous orgasm in your ear? Yeah, every time I think about this, that's what happens to me. So this story starts the same as all of history's most influential and most memorable stories. I was taking a fat shit in my bathroom, getting ready to go out with my friends. We were pre-gaming a little bit, not too hard, because there's really no point to pre-game super hard to happy hours and other drink specials. So we finish this, I pinch off the grumpy, and I'm ready to rock and roll. We go to this different bar, not the same one from the night before. And this was around the time Hurricane Herbert, or Hermione, or whatever the fuck the name of that hurricane was hitting. So it was very moist out. There was a lot of moisture in the air. There was a little bit of rain, just some sprinkling, just spitting out there. So people were fucking climbing over each other, World War Z style, trying to get into the bar. Pretty long line, but it wasn't too bad, and it wasn't raining really hard or anything like that. It was just kind of a nuisance. So when my friends and I got into the bar, we started going turbo immediately. We just went up to the bar and just started fucking slapping drinks hardcore and just getting absolutely obliterated. And while we were doing this, a girl that I kind of knew at the time came up because she saw us. She's like, you know what, I want to get in on that action. They're going hard in the paint. I'm about that life. I'm going to try and put anus to faces over here too, like these guys are. And this girl is absolutely gorgeous, probably one of the prettiest girls that I know. And it's not like we're super familiar with each other. We never exchanged numbers or hooked up or anything like that. But we had gotten fucked up at bars together in the past, so we knew each other a little bit. And this girl was going, and she was fucking ordering drinks faster than we were. She's like, come on, hold on a second, pussy tits. I'm getting 2 more. And just taking them both, bam, breaking shit on her fucking face. She wasn't doing that, but that would have been pretty cool too. But yeah, it was just fun. And after doing this for like an hour or 2 hours, however long it was, one of my friends, he was flopping around like a noodle. He was too drunk, so he went home because he lived pretty close. And then it was just me and my other friend, actually the same friend from my ceramic story, G. So it was me and G and this girl, and we were ready to leave. We were going to go back to my place, which is also walking distance from this bar, and we were just going to hang out for a bit. And since Hurricane Hermione was hitting in full force, shit, the rain was fucking coming in sideways. It felt like hail. It felt like we were just getting bullets shot at us, and it was kind of cool. And on this adventure back to my apartment, this 0.2 mile walk, the girl and I had made out, and things seemed to be going pretty well, you know? She seemed like she wanted to come back and stay over. And G was going to sleep on my couch bed hybrid thing, because my couch pulls out into a bed, some Star Trek style shit. I know, real advanced technology. And because that's what he usually does when he gets too drunk, because his place is too far away to walk to. And he's done this many times in the past. So we get back to my place, and her and I are just waiting for G to go to sleep. We're just waiting for him to be like, all right, y'all, I'm tired. I'm peacing out. I'm going to have some sweet dreams real quick. Night, night. And he wasn't doing it. He wasn't feeling it. This guy, he was in it for the long haul. He wanted to stay up till the sun was coming up. And eventually her and I were like, all right, we're getting tired. We're going to call it a night. And G was like, all right, Charlie, take me home. And I was shell-shocked. I was like, excuse me, that has to be a joke. So I laughed in his face. I was like, oh, you really yanked my chain good there, partner. No, I'm not doing that. I'm definitely not taking you home. And he was adamant about this. He was not budging. This man had slept on my couch at least 10 times in the fucking past, even when I didn't even want him to or know he was sleeping on my couch. We would just be playing a fucking game, and he'd be like, all right, Charlie, I'm going to sleep, and just crash on my couch all night. And then tonight, the one time I fucking needed him to crash on my couch, he was just not having it. He was driving a fucking hard bargain. And we just went back and forth. I was like, gee, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'd already sobered up because we'd been at my place for a while, and I wasn't drunk anymore, so I could take him home if I wanted to, but I didn't want to. And the girl was just watching both of us going back and forth. It was like an Indian soap opera where it keeps zooming in on the girl as she's looking at the two people talking, you know what I mean? Real dramatic like. And I could see beads of sweat just dripping down her face. No, please, don't budge. Don't drive him home. She was very concerned that I wasn't going to plant my feet and was going to give in to this. And this was just a real-life example of that conundrum. What happens when an unstoppable force of sexually driven hormones meets an immovable object of reluctance to sleep on a couch? And unfortunately, I just gave in because he just kept going. He's like, you know what, fuck it, alright, I'll just walk home, it's not a big deal. But he'd be walking 3 miles through a really shitty part of town. It's akin to walking through a fucking minefield. And I just kept giving him every chance in the book. I was like, gee, come on, you've slept on that couch so many times, wouldn't it just be far more convenient if you did that? He's like, no, Charlie, no, I will not sleep on that fucking couch. That couch has poopy on it right now, I don't want to lay in poopy. Just on and on. And then I just kept saying, gee, look, please, I don't want to do this. I was fucking begging him, don't make me do this. And then eventually I just gave in. Yeah, I was like, fuck it, G, you win, I'll drive you home. And then I could see the girl was very disappointed and upset, and so was I. I had fucking tears in my eyes, and I was begging her, please, it'll only take me 20-25 minutes to do this. Just wait in my bed, just, nap for a little bit, please. Sorewa, machurizo, just wait. Just, everything. I was just trying it all. It was like a scene in all of those romantic movies, like the really sad scene where they're chasing each other through a garden. The dude or the girl is shouting the other person's name, and they just can't hear it, they just keep walking. She had already made her decision, she wasn't gonna wait. She was gonna just go back to her place. Since we live in the same apartment complex, she just walked right back to her apartment and went to bed. And then the entire ride, I was bringing G home. I was so fucking tight about it. I was just telling him, G, you know what you've done, right? Do you realize the implications? Do you realize what you have fucking done to me, G? And he in his defense, I don't think he knew what was going on, even though I pretty much blatantly told him to his face, like, please, this is what's going on. But he was pretty fucked up, so I'll give him that. And yeah, ever since then, I've just been tossing and turning in my sleep. Sometimes I'll have nightmares where I will be in the same situation again, except my entire apartment will go up in flames, and that's preferable to what actually happened. I would have rather my apartment just get fucking taken out by Hurricane Hermione at that point in time than have to have this memory. This very sour memory. But yeah, that's the back-to-back nights of unfortunate circumstances I had no control over. The double whammy, the double fisting, the double penetration, the double dare, the double disappointment. Yeah, and that's about it. So yeah.